Let's review The Black Phone from Blumhouse and director Scott Derrickson. Let's get into this.
What's your favorite scary movie? Amen.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Allow Pennywise to dance you now.
Oh, Lord on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes, death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're doing a little review of The Black Phone, like I said, from director Scott Derrickson, who had previously done Sinister in 2013. I'm really excited to get into this review, but before I do that, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more spoiler-free reviews, and possibly a spoiler one coming sometime in the near future. So getting into this, real quickly, just want to give a little description of what The Black Phone is. It is a new film from director Scott Derrickson, like I said, who did Sinister and Doctor Strange from 2016. The film is being described as Finney Shaw is a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who's being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic, masked killer. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers that he can hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. I really enjoyed this film. I think for the most part, it's a fun time. It was a solid flick, but was this the movie that I was expecting? Was it the 10 out of 10 amazing, holy crap, that's the best horror movie of the year? What I was expecting from it? Unfortunately, no. I think it has it does have a lot of problems, but there are a lot of positives as well with it, which I want to go over the positives first. So, this is spoiler free, so I don't want to give anything away, but I will say that the performances across the board were phenomenal. I mean, everybody in this movie gives an amazing performance. Ethan Hawke is terrifying and super creepy as the grabber in a certain performance that God, he's amazing. Whenever he plays a villain, I mean, Ethan Hawke just kills it. He nailed it. Like I was expecting him to nail it, but he takes it even to another level of creepy that I've never even seen him play. Really one of his best villains. I love the grabber so much. Super creepy character. Loved that. Mason Thames is also amazing as Finney Shaw. Wow. I mean, you can feel the emotion from this kid. I mean, there's one scene where he breaks down, he starts crying, he's trying his hardest to get out of this basement. I mean, come on, that's not really a spoiler, is it? And he just breaks down, and my God, I mean, it's a really emotional scene. It is a really just well done, well executed scene. Amazing performance from him. His sister, played by Madeline McGraw, who is of course Gwen Shaw. Amazing performance, show stealer. She is so funny, has some of the greatest lines throughout the entire movie. A much needed little dose of humor that this movie, which is otherwise very dark, doesn't have too much humor, but when it does, it hits. And her character especially has some of the best lines throughout the entire movie. Really great performance, an absolute show stealer, like I said. And then we also have James Ransone, who, in my opinion, also a great character, but wasted. Absolutely wasted his character so much. Could have been in the movie so much more, but unfortunately is not. Very funny performance though when we do get him on screen for the very little screen time he has. Jeremy Davies is also great in a really weird role, which we'll talk about in a second, but he gives a good performance for what it is. Overall, I liked this movie, like I said. I think it has a lot of missed opportunities with some of the scares. There's a lot of moments where, I won't say what specifically, it just kind of fades to black. It's a really strange editing choice. The editing in this movie is not done very well. I gotta say that's my biggest problem with it is the editing. I think whenever something really scary or cool is about to happen, it just fades to black, like it fades away, and it doesn't show you that scene. Like, this movie is very similar to It from 2017. This is definitely Blumhouse trying to do that same kind of movie. You have many references throughout. If it's Gwen in the yellow coat on her bike, I mean, it looks just like Georgie from It from 2017. You have a bunch of like ghost kids around, and it has that supernatural Stephen King-y feel. It makes sense since this was based off of a short story done by his son Joe Hill. So it makes sense why it's got that Stephen King feel to it. But it definitely borrows a lot from that 2017 It film, which I don't mind at all. I think it's actually more of a positive thing than anything. My other thing about this, though, is that I just feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities, especially in the first act, to make something scary, and they don't really take that chance. This movie should have been 15 minutes longer, and it would have made a lot, like, it just would have really benefited this movie, I think. There's a lot of instances that it's tough for me not to spoil that could have been so much better and that could have led to great scares. Like, once again, comparing it to It 2017, the scene with Georgie where he gets, well, eaten by the clown. That's done really well, not because of the punch, not because of how terrifying it is once he bites into Georgie's arm and all that. It's the setup. It's the setup to that makes it even more frightening. Yes, a clown eating a child is terrifying inherently, but what's really great about that whole scene is the way it's set up. The reason we remember that, and the reason it's one of the most successful horror movies of all time, and the reason that scene in particular is probably one of the most scary scenes in horror history from at least the 2010s. Is because of when you have the clown coming up to the storm drain, you see his eyes change from yellow to crystal blue, and like they get a little bigger, and he's kind of wall-eyed and he's smiling. He's like, "Hiya there, Georgie. How's it going? Oh, can you smell the circus, Georgie? Can you smell it?" And his mouth is watering. You can see him like getting hungry. It's like this slow build, man. It's just a conversation, but it builds tension so well. This movie forgets to do that at certain points where it's really crucial. There's similar scenes like that where you saw this in the trailer, not really a spoiler. You have the grabber going to kidnap Finney, and it's edited in a way that completely ruins the buildup. It's a scene that only lasts less than 30 seconds. It's like that. It is so quick, and it doesn't build up something that could have been really scary that ultimately kind of falls flat for me. I think that this movie is still a really good time. I actually do have some more positives to go over. Like, the entire third act is flawless. I wouldn't have changed a thing. It is so phenomenal, so emotional, and because of the second act, it sets it up really well. The third act, I really enjoyed. I thought that was really well done. Not spoiling anything. I enjoyed it though. I think how this movie wraps everything up is nice. I think it's a really well-crafted story. Overall, I do like what Scott Derrickson did with it, but I was really expecting that 100% on Rotten Tomatoes kind of movie. I was expecting one of the best horror films of the year. I don't even think this makes my top 10, honestly, and that's pretty sad. It's not like I don't want to say it's like a disappointment for me, but it's a 7 out of 10. It is an easy 7 out of 10. I wouldn't give it any more than that. I wouldn't go any less. It's a really well done film, but it's not like it didn't blow me away like Sinister did when I saw that for the first time. Like that, I knew I was watching a horror classic. I'm like, this is something special. This is something I've never seen before. And just like Sinister, there's these really cool shots that feel really grungy. There's some really well executed jump scares in this film, but it ultimately falls flat because of that first act, man. If you get through that, the rest of the movie is great, but the whole first act, I just feel like there are so many little missed opportunities. I did really enjoy this film, though. I know it sounds like I'm kind of crapping on it, but like I said, it's an easy 7 out of 10. I think that for sure fits this movie. It's great. I really did enjoy it. It's not, like I said, maybe not the best horror film of the year, but it's still one to definitely go see. I would recommend it, but probably not going to be the best horror film of the year. What did you guys think about The Black Phone, though, if you have seen it so far? Are you excited for my spoiler review? Probably coming out either like Sunday or Monday. I'm not 100% sure when it's coming out, but sometime soon. Leave me something about it in the comments below if you're excited for The Black Phone, or if you've seen it and maybe you have a different take. Leave me something down below. I wouldn't want anyone to 100% agree with me every single time on everything. We all experience film different, and it's very subjective. I also drove all the way to Detroit to see this film early, so that might have added to my disappointment a little bit because it wasn't like the 10 out of 10 movie I was expecting. And then I drove 3.5 hours, kind of not for nothing, because it was really exciting, but it just wasn't like, I thought this was going to be my number one of the year. Honestly, I really did. And like I said, maybe 12th, 11th favorite of the year, unfortunately. Thank you guys so much for watching this new review of The Black Phone. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, if you want to see more reviews, like I said, I got my spoiler review of this film coming out either Sunday or Monday, and I'll have reviews for more films coming out later this year, like Nope or Halloween Ends. Thank you guys for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.